Live from Rockingham, we welcome race fans one and all back to Green Flag TV, where this afternoon we are set to rumble once again for Monday Night Racing action. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Green Flag TV. My name is Ola Ramble, joining alongside me today, back into the booth for the first time in a few weeks, is Austin Edstrom. Austin, you join us for round number 5 of the championship, and what a championship it has been so far. The first race where we are not sending anybody home. That doesn't mean we still got a nearly packed house here. 38 cars getting set to roll out for Rockingham.
Yeah, I was about to say, man, 38 cars, just about a full field, and, well, I guess for Xfinity series standards, right, it would be. So we're just about on the right number, 38 cars. There's a ton of cars here at Rockingham, and this is a tight place, right? This the groove here is not very wide. We kind of saw it in the real-life Xfinity race a couple weeks ago. You really want to be right down there on the bottom of the racetrack as the tires wear. You can kind of move up and find different grooves to run in, but especially early, you're going to see a lot of these guys stuck on the bottom side of the racetrack trying to save tires.
It is a very hot track surface down there as well right now. 128 degrees Fahrenheit down to the racing surface is going to make this an absolute blistering track for these guys to work with this afternoon, and that's going to be a difficult task for these drivers to contend with. We'll take a look at the championship standings entering racing action this afternoon. Michael Thorpe Jr. retains the lead, but Christopher Bassinger steadily reeling him in with that number 2 spot. Jaden Hopton only 5 points clear of Nicholas Corcel for the 3rd place spot, and the top 4 separated by only 15.
Yeah, not a lot separating most of the championship contenders up at the front of this field. But now, at a place like Rockingham, a little bit of a wild card, I got to admit. Don't get me wrong, the fastest guys on the season are probably going to be running up towards the front a lot, but the way that this track is laid out, especially coming out of turn number 2, I think you're going to see a lot of issues that could take out some of our championship contenders, could drop them down the list here. But you see all the drivers from 14th on up, all over 100 points, all within 47 points of your championship lead. So honestly, still a lot of guys kind of within that fight of the top spot right here in the High Tide Racing Series. It's just a few weeks in.
So all of this takes us to the Rockingham Speedway, where drivers are just getting set to roll on out this afternoon. And again, this is one of those racetracks deep with history. And of course, critically here, Austin, for the first time in I don't know how many years, the Rockingham Speedway is officially back to hosting NASCAR races in the real world. We saw the Cup Series, we saw the ARCA Series out here, and I believe the Xfinity Series as well. They were out here at the Rock just a little while ago. So once again, the Rock is back in action, and boy, it feels good to have a racetrack once again on the schedule that no longer a defunct racetrack anymore.
Yeah, I think it was ARCA trucks and Xfinity that all ran here on Easter weekend, and Xfinity cars running here on Easter weekend still having a completely packed house, right? When's the last time you've seen an Xfinity race sell out the grandstands? It's been a long time for me, and well, they did it at the Rock on Easter weekend of all weekends. So we know it's a fan favorite racetrack that they absolutely need to find a way to put a Cup date at pretty soon, at least whenever they finally fix the next gen car. But until they do, I'm content with it just being an Xfinity show. Tonight, obviously, going to be the ARCA car show, though, and I think it's going to be fantastic. I think iRacing's done a pretty good job with the ARCA car here on the service, and it puts on some pretty crazy racing. And well, the old, worn-out surface of the Rock is going to be absolutely no different. That's the one difference, though, of the real-life Rock to what we have on iRacing right now, right? We still got the old, worn-out surface, while in real life, they've repaved this place.
And of course, that worn-out pavement, it is an absolute tire killer. And we are going to see that as well, combining with track temps that are about 40 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit hotter than the air surrounding the facility this afternoon. It is not one of those places that a lot of Goodyear tires would envy, right? And I mean, these drivers going to be having to they're going to have to put themselves through the dang ringer this afternoon before we'll get to the conclusion of racing action here this afternoon. But Austin, we're getting set to go to the grid, and 200 laps about to kick off. We saw how the last season went here. Bit of a caution fest when we went to the B-Class cars. Think it'll be any different this afternoon?
Early on, no. I think it's going to be more of the same, to be honest. And I hate to say it, but again, I said it just a little bit ago. It's the exit of turn number 2. Turns 3 and 4 is not going to be that big of a problem. I think most of these guys are going to have that figured out relatively early. 3 and 4 is not the most difficult set of corners that you're going to see in your life, but it's just 1 and 2, man. Coming off of turn number 2, this racetrack tightens up more than just about more than any other racetrack that we go to. And if you're 2 wide, especially if you're 3 wide coming off that corner, it's just going to pinch off so tight to where there's just absolutely no room for you to find. So I'd be a little bit worried coming out of turn number 2, especially whenever we're lined up 2 by 2 like we're about to be on the race start.
Row number 1 on the grid, headed up by Benjamin Lace for 785 Racing alongside PT Autosports, Aaron Smith in that yellow vision number 70 as we take to the starting grid this afternoon. Moving on back to row number 2, it is Christopher Bassinger, the current points runner-up alongside Pennsylvania native Samuel Baumgarten. Moving back then to row 3, it's Jaden Hopp alongside your current points leader, Michael Thorpe Jr. for Golden Garden Autosport, qualified 2/10 off of the pole sitter. Row 4, headed up by Austin McGill, his Golden Garden Autosport teammate, alongside old school racers Scott Shire. And then rounding out row number 5 is going to be Brian Zimmerman and Kevin Foster to close out the top 10.
Starting up here on row number 6 is going to be John Osborne with Dustin Ping in at number 81 on his outside in 12th place. 13th is going to be Brian Dees, and his teammate Ty Marasco is going to be starting on his outside in 14th. Kyle Willman's going to be starting on the inside of row number 8 with Tanner Marr on his outside in the 16th place spot. Sean Williams starts in 17th place with Jacob Locklear on his outside in 18th. And then rounding out the top 20 here tonight is going to be Michael Keekley and Paul Sathmary.
Back into 21st place is going to be Dalton Kilwer from FRD Racing alongside Nicholas Coruscant. Then back to 23rd and 24th on row 12. It's GMW's Wyatt Walker alongside the Team 5 Motorsports driver of Brad Lawson. Then back into 25th and 26th, it's Connie Gibbs from BC Simsport alongside Ashley Lyle. Ashley making her first start of racing action here this afternoon with the Napa Auto Parts 01, wishing her the best of luck this afternoon. Jonathan Campbell will start in 27th alongside Larry Bell in 28th. And then closing out the top 30 is going to be David Lakey and Bob Berry.
Running in the 31st place spot, we've got Matt Crockett with Ethan Sikorsky on his outside in 32nd. James Afala is going to be lining up on the inside of the next row in 33rd with Thomas Mitchell on his outside in 34th. Conrad Whedon starts in the 35th place position with Joey Neese on his outside in 36th, and that's going to be the last of the qualifiers. While the next 2 did not set down a qualifying time, they're going to be starting at the back of the field. That's Jeremiah Hobbs in the number 3 starting in 37th, and Mike Massengill in the 20 starting in 38th.
Interesting enough, looking like Michael Thorpe Jr. might be sent to the tail of the field. Not sure what the reason is for, but he is on the move backwards to the tail of this one. So we'll have to figure out what's up with the driver of the number 34. While the pack is getting set to work their way up and around. And this is going to be...
OLs.
Yeah, several EOLs being given out here, likely for penalties handed out last week at Darlington. One of those penalties, though, a bit harsh than an EOL. Noah Blackwell, a driver that has been known for making some aggressive moves over the last few weeks, has been suspended for 1 race following an attempt wreck incident that we missed on the broadcast under caution during the Darlington race early on. He has been told he has to sit out for tonight's race and has scored no points from last race as well. So the pace car pulling down into pit road. And we're happy you're joining us for more racing action here on this fantastic Monday afternoon. The green flag's out. It's go, go, go from the Rock.
Even heat down into turn number 1 between Lacey and Aaron Smith. Smith on that outside groove, though, he's going to be able to rip around your pole sitter, easily take the race lead off of turn number 2, as most of the field is 2 by 2 by 2 all the way through coming off the corner, and luckily nobody getting into any type of contact coming off of turn 2 on the first lap.
Don't say that yet. It's a long way around 3 and 4, but it's going to be Aaron Smith leading the first lap to green this afternoon. Several cars still side by side, deeper in the pack as we fire it back down into turn numbers 1 and 2. And Smith continuing to pull clear as he fires down the back straightaway.
Single file in the top 5. First side-by-side battle is going to be for the 6th place spot. Kevin Foster in that number 8 down to the inside. That's Scott Schauer on the outside trying to hang on to the 6th place position. Not going to be able to do it, but how about Dustin Ping right there in 8th place. Now looking to the inside of Shire. Started in the 12th place spot. Ping already up a good handful of positions right off the rip. Trying to get another one here. Trying to pick up 7th place, and the yellow flag's going to be out. I believe we have an incident in the middle of 1 and 2.
Several cars going around and looking like Ethan Sikorsky, one of the big contenders, caught up in this one. So not an ideal run then for several cars this afternoon. Let's try and take a look back on what has gone awry here. And well, this is already well after it has happened. We'll back this up by a little bit more. And again, just a little bit in progress. One more attempt, perhaps. Here we go. This will be the look coming down in towards turn numbers 1 and 2 with Ethan Sikorsky and Larry Bell on the bottom.
Yeah, Sikorsky way out to the outside, giving plenty of room, but obviously just kind of outbraked themselves, just about hit the car in front, and ended up skating that rear end out, fishtailing, then slamming the wall on the overcorrection. It just looked like he got in the brakes a little bit early. Like the car in front wanted to maybe save tires a little bit more than Sikorsky was trying to, and then all these guys just piling in at the end. 58 coming in late down there on the apron. You think, hey, I'm going to get to the apron and dodge this thing and get by pretty quick, but unfortunately Sikorsky just coming down the racetrack.
Yeah, nothing that the 58 car could do there. Few drivers are coming into pit road this time by, interestingly enough. So we do have a few drivers down and in for service. And I'd imagine most of these are trying to pick up some damage repairs from various incidents off of the opening salvo of laps here.
Yeah, I wouldn't find any other reason to come down this early, right? Still 145 laps to go. I don't think that this would put you in your fuel window, and even if it did, I don't know, just a little early. So I definitely wouldn't take tires this early unless you just slid the ever-living mess out of them on that caution. So most of the well, everybody in the top 30 basically staying out. A couple guys further back deciding to come down pit road, just like you said, get that damage repair. But I really wouldn't expect the pit stops until you get 20, 25 laps on your tires. I mean, I don't know, maybe you decide to do it a little bit earlier, later on in the race, but we've only got 4 sets of tires behind the pit wall for this thing. I would really like to save this first set for at least 20 to 30 laps before I actually come down and put on another set.
I'd agree, right? I mean, you got to kind of you got to play the cards right where you're able to, and I don't think realistically quite a few of the drivers are in the position to make those moves just yet. So we're going to see these guys, though, get lined up. We'll, I guess, try for it this time by again. Oh, not quite. Light's still on aboard the iRacing pace car. It's one of those tough situations, though, right? I mean, sort of a what do you do type of moment when you get into incidents like this, and this could be a bit of a learning curve for some in this field. It's
Joey Neese back on pit road. But see, one of the, I guess he had, 58 of Joey Neese. He's the one that came down on the apron, him having to come down multiple times here, obviously, the heavy front, right front damage for that 58. Not too surprising to see him on pit road multiple times under this yellow flag. I love your new graphics, by the way. I mean, I can't believe how I missed a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden we had the grid graphics better than I have ever seen, and now I can see the pit stop timing over on the right. Easy peasy. I mean, I can't believe how much you've done while I've been gone.
ATVO is a beautiful tool.
It seems like it. My goodness.
Yeah, love the new look as well. It's very sleek look, very clean. I like it. From what I can tell, pretty much everybody else likes it too.
No complaints so far, that is for sure.
Well, don't leave again or you'll come back and the whole channeling will be different next time.
I'll try not to get cancer again. I'll think of that next time. Make sure that none of this changes.
Well, the field going to work their way around turn numbers 3 and 4. And with the iRacing pace car pulling down and into the pits, we are ready to rumble once again as Aaron Smith jumps on the loud pedal and everyone else files in behind him.
Front two already single file. Benjamin Lacey's got to be feeling a little bummed off of that initial start, right? He got the pole. You think, hey, the pole sitter's got the advantage, but, on the initial start, everybody goes on green, and honestly, the top side at a lot of racetracks is just a little bit better, so sometimes that second place qualifier actually has a bit of an advantage over the first place runner, and here it happened, right? Benjamin Lacey did not get to control that start, lost the lead right off the rip, even though he qualified better than Aaron Smith. And right now, just sitting in that second place position, biding his time. Oh, one car in the pits a little bit further back. Oh, a couple of cars getting into it down the back straightaway. Both of them save it down on the bottom. I thought that was going to be a huge one. coming off of turn number 2, but both of them able to hang on, and then they're still pinching each other in the middle of 3 and 4.
Big time moment off the top side there for Connor Gibson and Moore, while the rest of the pack side by side, each down the front stretch of the turns 1 and 2. Now off the top side of 2 down Thunder Alley. Samuel Baumgarten started the push towards the head of this field. The number 23 really tracking and work his way up to the back of Christopher Bassinger, as well as Dustin Ping trying to battle that with Austin McGill just behind him.
Bassinger able to hang on to third there, coming down into turn 1, but like you said, side by side for the 5th place position.
Oh,
McGill
flips around! Big problems with the points leader. Kyle Wellman also collected. But for the main man that currently leads the points, this is a devastating way to start off his race.
Oh, no. That's a devastating way to end his race. That right front tire's off. He's done. That engine's blown. The right front tire's off. Thorpe, like you said, championship leader. I bet all it takes is one moment coming off of 2 for the points to completely just overhaul themselves. It wasn't coming off of 2. It was going down to 1. And honestly, he did it to himself.
Ran over Lakeand. Huge lick into the outside wall. Brutal impact for the number 34. And they're looking like Wellman may have just locked up the brakes trying to avoid.
That's the type of incident, I expect to see in the next gen, that overcorrection, because you cannot turn the next gen car to the right on ovals. An ARCA car, I wouldn't expect it to hook the way that it did for Thorpe there, but that's as massive of a hit that you're going to see at Rockingham as possible. And obviously Thorpe's damage kind of tells that story.
That is a violent impact into the wall, and good grief. I mean, the 3 car of Jeremiah Hobbs nearly got wiped out in all of this. This is what he saw.
I can't believe how big that was for Thorpe. Holy cow. Like you said, this is from Hobbs. Just barely missing that. Whoa. He might have a little bit of right front damage. I couldn't quite tell if he got a little nick of that or not. But for him to be able to dodge that the way he did, even if he came away with 10 seconds of damage, that's impressive as heck from Jeremiah Hobbs to be able to get by there. Because that could have been a race ender for him, too.
Well, not the way we were looking to start off racing action here this afternoon. 2 cautions already in very quick succession, only working lap 13. Yellow flags was a big part of the discussion after last week. There was a lot of talk about a new penalty system that was going to look to be implemented starting this week, actually. So I'm going to be jumping down right after this race to kind of see what's going on with that and see how that works out for the rest of the field. There's been a lot of talk about drivers showing respect on some drivers needing to learn how not to drive in over their own heads. A lot of discussions like that, and I'm not going to say Thorpe did it intentionally. I definitely don't think he did. I think he just kind of got caught out, but this is one of those tracks, right? You really need to log the practice laps early on if you want to have a reasonable chance at winning here, and some drivers might not have gotten as much practice as they might have needed.
Yeah, and Rockingham's just one of those tracks that, we've gone to, now 2 back-to-back. Darlington and Rockingham are 2 of the most difficult oval tracks that you're going to go to, especially here with the old pavement of the old rock, right? I mean, you got to have this place at least somewhat figured out. And even then, I mean, it just takes one mistake. I guarantee you Thorpe's one of those guys that has it figured out, and, he just happened to make one mistake going into one. So tough break for the 34 there.
Green flag back in the air, this time by, as the field takes off down towards turn numbers 1 and 2. In the field, siphoned it off in the second corner. All clean so far.
Yeah, Smith down to the race lead easily once again on that restart. And this time, Baumgartner able to get by Benjamin Lacey for the having an in at the end of there is a little bit weird, but either way for Sam, he was able to take second place away from Benjamin on that restart. So a good start to this race for Sam, but Benjamin Lacey has just not had the start that he wanted. Right, starting on the pole, you hope that you can keep it for a little bit. Already back to third for Lacey, and we know that he's one of the quickest guys in this series.
That's up.
Cars finding the fence there through 3 and 4, able to kind of get the ship righted though. Connor Gibson was one of those, but able to get it all 4 wheels back back on the racing surface in a normal way, and down into turn number 1. They're still skating coming down to number 1. I mean, just about no grip for a lot of these guys as they fly down into the corner.
Ashley Lyle, fastest lap of the race, that time by. So the 01 Napa Auto Parts machine is on the move this afternoon as Lyle tries to push her way back towards the head of the field. And working our way around through turns 1 and 2, back around to the front straightaway. Back straightaway. You know, it's kind of funny that you said Baumgartner initially for Samuel Baumgarten here. One of the first things when he popped in, Dalton Coe jumped in and said, "How would you say that name?" I said, "Oh, Baumgarten." It's like, okay, for some reason everyone says Baumgartner. He doesn't mind it apparently, or it's like it doesn't. It's kind of water with ducks backboard, but it's one of those things where it's like, all right, I guess it just kind of happens.
I'm telling you, it's just more natural. But
right?
The R makes more sense. Well, he's side by side for the race lead right now, so he's trying to put that into good use down on the bottom side of the racetrack. Trying to get up to the race lead. Not going to quite be able to do it. Just going to tag or get right back up in line here down the front straightaway. Just tough to make that pass actually complete down on the bottom side of the racetrack here. Big
problems as well for Joey Neese as the driver of the number 58 has found the wall big time somewhere. And that is actually that's actually a leftover damage from the wreck he had earlier on. He made his way back out onto the racetrack and apparently was just trying to skirt around the damage, trying to see if he could find it in. I guess he didn't really find a way to make the damage work as he's back down to the pit road and could very well be down and out of this race.
Yeah, with that much damage to the nose and at a racetrack that's, it only takes 25 seconds to get around on worn tires, you're going laps down over and over and over and over again. So for Nice, his bid for at least the top 10 is over. Maybe he can get that damage repair and come out here and pick up a couple spots from attrition, because I do think we're going to have some attrition in this race. But other than that, I mean, he's not going to pick up too many spots for the rest of the night. So tough break for Nice, especially because, I feel like he did just about everything right. He was getting down to the apron to make sure he avoids that wreck, and unfortunately the car spinning in front just happened to slide down the racetrack, even with the brakes pressed, and he just couldn't avoid it at that point. So sometimes you just choose the wrong spot to go in.
So the field going to continue working up and around, and we'll look to see who's going to be where at the end of this one. But I feel like for the time being, a lot of drivers are just kind of playing it safe. Look at John Osborne trying to find his way around the top side. No dice though for the driver, the number 5 in the battle for 10th place with Tanner Marr.
Good side-by-side battling all throughout the pack. Even for the 3rd place position, we've got a couple guys going at it. Lacey looking to potentially lose that spot here to Dustin Ping. I said earlier, Dustin Ping started back in the 12th place position. He's got himself all the way up to a side-by-side battle for 3rd. He had to back out of it. Back here with Tanner Marr. Marr's trying to do everything he can. Ping, no, he kind of forced Benjamin Lacey into a battle for 2nd. Lacey had to pick up the pace a little bit to make sure that he kept 3rd place away from Dustin Ping. And now he's down to the inside of Baumgarten. Potentially giving that outside to Ping, though, coming out of 3 and 4. It's hard to make the pass on the bottom, but pinging it to that right rear, he could potentially get the pass done. Not able to do it there coming out of turn number 4, though. Ping just going to try to wind it up on the top side of the racetrack once again. But through 1 and 2 here, Lacey with the better run on the bottom side of the corner, going to be able to just file in that 3rd place position. But your first 6, your front 6, all under a blanket coming down to turn 3.
I love Rockingham. It's such a unique racetrack, unlike anything else in the NASCAR calendar, and it really does throw a challenge up to the drivers as we see Lacey gonna try for the inside again. Couldn't get him this time by, but he's still there. He is still hunting for that move if he can get a leg up there.
I still think Lacey's got, the pace to be up here with Aaron Smith. Once the kind of long run gets into it, if we can get to that long run point, I really think that Lacey's going to have something for Aaron Smith. The problem is he's in that dirty air of Samuel Baumgarten right now, and the more you run in that dirty air, the more that you wear your tires compared to the race leader. As long as Smith is doing everything right, everything that he's supposed to in terms of saving that right front tire, it's going to be hard for Lacey to eventually make the move later on in the run. And we're starting to see a little bit of separation out of the front 5, front 6, except for Ping, who's in a side-by-side battle right now with Bassinger for that 4th place position. Maybe Dustin Ping ran off his tires a little bit too early. I said he came from 12th to 4th. Now might be losing that 4th place position. as Christopher Bassinger just flies around the outside there. He was able to find that right rear like I was talking about earlier. He picks up the 5th place spot, or 4th place spot.
So he's going to continue to work with this one here. Look at McGill down to the bottom side. Push it up almost into him, but he's able to more or less kind of gather things up. And, well, a lot of race still yet to be had this afternoon. And what a ride we are having now this afternoon. One driver that we'll be able to kind of catch up with here as having an unfortunate early exit to his day is Michael Thorpe Jr., the driver, the number 34 out of Chicago, Illinois. And, well, Michael, wasn't quite the way you were hoping to have this one go down. Kind of talk us through your night and how you found yourself out of the race early on.
Well, it's just my own accord, just being a little bit too aggressive early on. Wasn't quite sure where the 84 was going, and it just kind of went off from there. And once I tried to avoid him and he hit on the brakes, that was like 70% on the brakes, and it just lost the rears.
Championship-wise, this might deal a hefty blow. Losing the points lead obviously might be a guarantee after that, but do you reckon you can rally back next week and take the fight right back to Chris and Co.?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's Texas is definitely one of my best tracks, which is surprising. And so I got a feeling that we'll bounce back from this. But not happy with that. That is 2 races in a row with DMS, so I'm not too positive about that. But we're gonna push through this and go stronger.
Still a long season and a lot of race left to go. We'll wish you the best of luck next week at Fort Worth.
Thank you, guys.
Michael Thorpe Jr., the Golden Guardian Autosports driver, will be finishing his race classified as 38th on the day, and the first driver to officially retire for racing action tonight. Awesome. You see a big battle picking up for 18th between Kyle Wellman, Matt Crockett, and more.
Yeah, and honestly, Kyle Wellman's doing a pretty good job considering he was involved in one of those yellow flags, right? I mean, I imagine he probably put on one of his sets of tires, and, he might have a little bit of an tire advantage over some of these guys, but, he was involved in one of those incidents, had to go to the back of the field, maybe get some damage repair, and for him to be able to get up in the spot he is already, pretty impressive. But now that he's kind of cleared this group, they're getting even more racy back here. One car able to find the wall just ever so slightly. Connor Gibson now ripping that top side, kind of doing the same thing as Kyle Wellman, right? I think he might have put on some tires and got up here, but man, huge checkup off of 2 right behind him. Anytime they're 2x2 coming off of turn number 2, I get a little bit more nervous.
And boy, you saw Matt Crockett kind of slide things out. For the time being, we're still looking good. We got another battle starting to pick up as well. Brian Dees, John Osborne, Ty Marasco, all tucked up behind Kevin Foster. Dalton Kilroy also waiting in the wings. This here is the battle for 8th on back.
So the front 7 have kind of separated themselves here. Aaron Smith to Brian Zimmerman, but like you said, from 8th on back, we got a little 5-car battle. Kevin Foster has somewhat separated himself now. Maybe he can kind of run down those front 7, give himself an opportunity at getting up to the race lead. But these guys have started to battle each other relatively heavily, and, well, 3 of those are team cars that are all battling here. Dalton Kilroy now to the inside of Ty Marasco, as Foster's now getting pressure from John Osborne as well, coming down into turn number 1. But that car on the bottom just cannot, it doesn't seem like they're able to stay side by side for long. Like, you either have to get the move done immediately and clear, or else you're just not going to get the the run off of the corner from the bottom side of the racetrack whenever somebody's just whipping the fence as fast as can be. So it'll be interesting to see just how tough does passing get as the tires wear off even more and more in this run. And finally, how many laps of fuel do we actually have, right? I know we're running a little bit of an abbreviated fuel cell. So how many laps can you actually run until you've got to make that pit stop under green?
That's the big time question, right? Where does the fuel number lie? I think for the most part, it's looking like, oh, hello, we might have, okay, thought we might have an incident back here, but looking like it's just a big run for Nicholas Coruscant, picking off 2 drivers at one time. That was Connor Gibson and Ashley Lyle that he just got around. So the 01 going to continue the battle out, and a fight's on for the number 2 spot as well. Benjamin Lacey just stole it away from Bumgarner.
There you go, Lacey. Now that we've gotten to that longer run, kind of using that long run pace that I was assuming he was going to have to pick up that 2nd spot. We're going to get a look to see exactly how he did it. coming off of turn number 2. Just had a better run than the 23 coming down into turn number 3. And it looks like Bumgardner just gave it to him. Honestly, kind of smart racing at this point. You don't want to hold up Lacey too much and wear out your tires even more than you already have. You know, just kind of manage, be like, okay, you know what, if I'm a 3rd or 4th place car right now, I'm content with running 3rd or 4th. We still got 110 laps to go in this thing, so I like that from Bumgarden. Honestly, probably a smart move from the 23 there, just to kind of preserve its race. We know how difficult it can be to run side by side here. But most of the top 5 are now starting to separate out. We kind of saw them all under a blanket for a while. The only 2 that are really, really close together are going to be your leader in your 2nd place is Benjamin Lacey's trying to run down Aaron Smith.
Paul Statmary into pit road, and this does not look like it's for a scheduled stop. 22 seconds. That tells me he's had some damage repairs he's had to come in and fix. Thomas Mitchell also into pit road this time by.
Yeah, you said it wouldn't be scheduled, but if I'm seeing multiple cars come down, I start getting a little...
He just came out of the car, and look at the damage to the right front. I think he slapped the wall somewhere.
Yeah, I think you're right. I see a little crinkle there, but I do think that we're getting somewhat closer to those green flag pit stops. Maybe it's still 20 laps away if I had to bet. Maybe a little bit further. I guess I'm kind of spitballing, not knowing exactly what the fuel cell limitations are, but yeah, Mitchell's still in pit road, 26 seconds. I suppose we're just seeing a couple guys on the older tires start to make, you know, those mistakes that I was talking about. Very, very easy to slap that wall off of turn number 2. And I imagine as the tires wear and that lane starts to move up a couple grooves, it just becomes easier and easier to actually fishtail it into that fence. So you have to pay attention to that turn 2 wall as we get further and further in this tire.
Quite a long green flag run that we're having here as well. I think this is actually a longer run that we've had than we had at all throughout the entirety of the last race. Oh, look at Hobbs slinging that one to the inside as the 00 really piling on the pressure to get around Brian Dees quickly.
Trying everything he can to get around. Oh, and we got one more car coming down. Kevin Foster in that number 8. He's decided to come down, which I'm definitely feeling more and more likely that we're at the green flag pit stops sequence for some of these guys. And some of these guys could have just been, you know, they ran off their tires a little bit early, but they're committing to the 2 stop at this point. Obviously, you'd still have to run another 30 laps to be able to make it on 1 stop, so we'll just have to wait and see exactly what the strategy play is. Is Foster coming in for damage, or is he actually coming down as a scheduled pit stop? Just waiting to see whenever he finally leaves his box, as Lacey's continuing to put the pressure on Aaron Smith, but Kevin Foster does leave after 14.5 seconds, so that looks more like a scheduled pit stop to me for Kevin.
This here, the battle for the race lead between Benjamin Lacey, who you're right on board with, and Aaron Smith, who has been steadily losing time. Lacey flexing some of that long run pace that he is so good with. And no doubt some help from lap traffic up the road with dirty air starting to become a factor as well.
Yeah, Smith starting to catch a couple of lap cars here, kind of putting himself in a interesting scenario. He's been just as quick as Benjamin Lacey up here in the race lead with that clean air, but Lacey with the, honestly, I like that line from Lacey a little bit better off of turn 2. I think he got a little loose that time, couldn't quite keep the throttle, but that later apex that he's got just looks a little bit cleaner to me. Looks a little bit more under control, and like he can get some better momentum coming off of turn number 2 if he hits it perfect. So I'm liking that line from Lacey.
Sorry to cut you off. Conrad Whedon has just been given a meatball flag, and he has gone around as the caution going to come out this afternoon. So a big incident here for the number 11.
It's a super tough break for everybody that already come down pit road, right? Kevin Foster, a guy that pitted from the top 20, ends up being a lap down. Conrad Whedon, you mentioned he went around, but Connor Gibson came down pit road just then. He ends up being a lap down. Sathmary obviously stayed in pit road for a while. He's 2 laps down, so a couple of the guys that decided to pit end up kind of getting screwed off of that.
And that was right there after the crash had already happened. This was the actual point. Oh, slammed into the turn 2 wall, slid down and hard lick into the inside fence. And that is what puts us under the yellow flag for the for the 3rd time today. And this is the whole field into pit road.
Not too surprising at this point, right? 50 laps in,
yeah.
You better come down and take one of those sets of tires. Especially, you know, none of these guys have actually come down and taken tires yet. So you got four whole sets that you can use behind the pit wall for this race. Go ahead, take that first set right now. Only 100 laps left, 2/3 of the race. Go ahead and take one of those 4 sets. Perfect timing to do it. We'll wait and see. Does Aaron Smith win the race off of pit road. Lacey doesn't even have that left side down, so Smith's going to win the race off pit road, and I think that Lacey ended up losing second place to Baumgarten as well.
So the field making their way back out onto the racetrack, and we will now get a look at speed with the crash that put Conrad Whedon up and around. 94's course went underneath him. No contact, though. The 11 just slid on the track and bodied the fence. Now, that one did not bring out the yellow flag here. I'm curious what did, because it wasn't just the 11 being slow, I don't think. Trying to turn into the corner, and that'll do it.
Well,
that might be a looked at post-race, you know.
Oh, that'll definitely be looked at. That was not
that
good.
Was something that
I'm
happened.
I'm gonna bite my tongue. I'm gonna bite my tongue. I have more words I want to say.
I'll play the devil's advocate and say he might have been trying to turn the car to the inside, and maybe he just didn't know how broke the car was. Well, we can find out exactly what if that was the case by riding on board.
Okay, yeah, his steering's completely screwed.
Yeah, well,
his
fair enough.
His steering is completely screwed here.
So he's turning to the right, trying to. Now he's going to work his way around the corner. Turn to.
Yeah, the car just didn't turn. Yeah, okay, fair.
I think that gives him enough benefit of the doubt.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. Never mind. I'm glad I bit my tongue because I would have looked like a complete idiot.
Well, you know, here's the thing, right? I mean, I don't blame him for thinking he can still drive, right? Because, I mean, the car keeps turning itself left when he's turning the wheel right. So, obviously, you would think naturally, oh, okay, well, obviously the car's going to turn left when I turn the wheel left.
Yeah,
apparently not.
I would have thought so, too. But I'll take back everything I was going to say. I apologize, Conrad. That was absolutely nothing he could have done at that point. I mean, I guess he could have stopped the car against the wall. But to your point, I thought after watching whenever he hit that inside. Yeah, exactly. I thought whenever he hit that inside wall that he was still going to have the ability to turn left, but obviously the car did not have that capability anymore. So, but he couldn't find out until after he got off that wall. So it is what it is. Tough break for Conrad. Tough break for the guys that pitted beforehand. But hey, we got to re-rack them, restack them, and we're going to go again on this restart with about 96 laps, 97 laps to go on the restart.
So the field going to work our way back around turn numbers 3 and 4. Cautions have a tendency to breed cautions. We'll see if it'll be the same at Rockingham Speedway. Just under 100 laps to go. Green flag back in the air.
Oh man, nobody behind Aaron Smith got going. I mean, he picked the top side of the racetrack, and absolutely everybody else in the field completely forgot where their gas pedal was. Sam Baumgarten able to clear for second place coming off of turn number 2. He had a heck of a pit stop to get back up to the second place position, and now Bassinger trying to float it around the outside of Benjamin Lacey. Put Lacey one more spot off of Aaron Smith. See, can Bassinger keep that momentum around the outside? Like I said, tough for that car on the inside to actually make the move, and it looks like Lacey actually gets off the gas a little bit early, letting the number 15 take that position, but it's going to allow the 22 of Brian Zimmerman to get to his right rear as well, coming off of turn number 2, but Lacey shuts the door, able to have enough momentum off of turn number 2 to kind of clear that 22 back and just settle into the 4th place position. Unless Brian Zimmerman just wants to rip the fence through 3 and 4 like he's going to try to do. Trying to get back to that right rear, couldn't quite do it.
No dice that time by for Zimmerman, and now he has got one car down to the inside, and we got a few cars looking like got something going on back here. Brad Lawson has been given a meatball flag. Keithley's into the wall. We've had a big crash back here. And Keithley's car's broke. Lawson's car's broke. What the heck happened back here? Well, get a look.
Yeah, a lot going on as they're side by side for the race lead. It looks like Aaron Smith's going to be able to hang on for now. Baumgarten putting a lot of pressure on him, not letting him have it for free, but at the end of the day, just tough to make that pass on the bottom on a guy with clean air. But yeah, we're going to have to go back and watch to see exactly what happened there on that issue.
Now take a look here. This is Brad Lawson off of turn 4. Oh, Keithley stepped sideways into the wall. Lawson got tipped around as well. And Keithley got put back into the fence and nearly went up and over.
multiple issues coming off of turn number 4 that all just kind of followed themselves down into turn number 1. It's just kind of easy to snap this thing around. You're right. I was talking about this. This track is old and worn out, and here on the newer tires, I guess they're still kind of cold on the first couple laps on the restart. Maybe just a couple of issues. Not only that, but I believe it was Keithley that kind of cleared himself off of turn number 4. I mean, he was just about clear, but you know, almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, not in racing for sure. And just kind of cleared himself coming off of turn number 4, and ultimately put himself in the wall. But we saw another car get in the fence as well.
Onboard is actually Lyle. She was right behind this mess, and this is what the 01 saw. There's one. Oh, does get into the second, and boy, a bit of a bottle up there. Not a lot that Ashley could have done to avoid that.
No, but a good job at not making that any worse, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the checkup was kind of late after she dodged the first one. So.
Oh, and now Paul Satmary's
around.
around. Paul Satmary is around again. Tail of the field, so the German having another poor outing. And this is what happened to Paul. Just lost it by himself. Looked like he was trying to come down to pit road.
Yeah, it was a kind of weird sideways through 3 and 4, and then he got on the apron, and it almost looked like he was okay, but it, like you said, almost looked like he was trying to get down to pit road, and he kept trying to woe that thing up, and unfortunately the back end just ended up stepping around on him a little bit too far, a little bit further than he could handle. Up here for the race lead, though, Aaron Smith still hanging on. He's led every lap so far. Samuel Baumgarten, though, not letting him get away, not letting him pull out too far. See if Sam can do a little bit better job saving his tires than he did the last time.
Look at the lap times as well. Within 0.006 of a second on the last 3 laps. If you don't include this one, I mean, these two drivers are very evenly matched right now.
Both of them super close in lap times. The only problem is Baumgarten trying to fight through that dirty air, right? And I've mentioned it a couple times already. Yeah, a little loose there. It's hard to fight through that dirty air, though, and not destroy the tires, right? You got to make this pass early enough to where you don't kill the tires too quickly so that you can get into that clean air and save a little bit better. But it's just so difficult to make that pass. Oh, we had a bit of a moment coming off of turn number 2, a little bit further back.
It's not over yet either. I think one of the lap cars that they just got around, possibly Joey Neese, not doing the most effective job on getting up and out of the way of the leaders.
Yeah, he kind of got up and in the way coming off of turn number 2. I mean, really pulled across the nose of a few of them and then ended up pulling back down. So, not the most predictable line from a lap car I've ever seen, but ultimately everybody able to get through without getting any damage, I do believe. So, could have turned out a whole heck of a lot worse. But man, I really like that. Kind of off topic, but I really like that tide ride from Brian Dees this week. That number 17, that looks really, really good. Got the throwback scheme still going from Darlington, it seems, but I love it.
The battle's still raging on as we battle our way through turn numbers 3 and 4 and back around to the front straightaway. John Osborne in a big battle right now with Ty Marasco. Up to the high side goes Jacob Locklear. And the Toyota GR Camry making moves. Gets around the high side, and there as well goes Sean Williams in the 89. So Osborne now hemorrhaging positions.
Osborne struggling, coming down into turn number 1. Scott Shire down to the inside. Both these guys.
Hello.
Dees, a little bit of a bump and run to Austin McGill coming out of turn number 2. Going to put him 3 wide, coming down the back straightaway. Well, he picked up a spot, but then he lost one, too, to Kyle Wellman. And where the heck did Wellman come from? He was in one of those wrecks earlier, and he spot himself into the top 10.
It's a real look at what I found moment for the driver, the number 42. Saw everything going on there, took full advantage of both of them, and said, see you later. Right on board at the number 42. They say, all right, well, if you're not going to go, I'll go.
Yeah, if y'all gonna have that big of a checkup off of turn number 2, I'll absolutely take that middle groove. Thank you very much. Can I have another, please? Unfortunately, that has not worked out for Brian Dees whatsoever. McGill has kept his position up in the top 10. Dees has actually gone back to 12, so it really did not work out for that number 17.
Yeah, Brian Dees' number 17 entry struggling for the time being, while everyone else scrapping it out just up the road. Kyle Wellman trying to fend off Austin McGill as the battle for 8th on back rages all the way down the back straightaway.
How about Kyle Wellman? I know that he's looking to maybe lose this position right here to Austin McGill. It's, again, tough to pass on the inside of the racetrack, so who knows? McGill might not be able to get this done. He's got Dalton Kilroy all over his back bumper, too, but man, Wellman has come from the back into the top 10 after spinning out earlier, being involved in another driver's issue. What a drive it's been from the driver, the number 42. I know we're only halfway done, so I don't want to jinx him or anything, but this is a hell of a drive from Kyle Wellman so far. You're not clear, buddy. Holy cow, he just about wrecked himself off the nose of Austin McGill. Super tight between the two. Going to end up giving the spot away to his teammate of Ty Marasco and help out his other teammate Brian Dees by letting him finally pick up that spot over McGill as well. But that was a little nervy there from the driver of the 41.
Little nervy, but the field is going to keep on keeping on. The 96 up top of Jacob Locklear. Going to go around the outside of Dalton Kilroy and pick off another spot as well. Jaden Hopp up the road. Fight it out in his own right, trying to make a move happen. Again, what a race that these guys are having this afternoon. And I mean, this is just awesome, the type of racing we're seeing from the field today.
Yeah, mostly clean too, right? That's a big part of it. Benjamin Lacey getting by Samuel Bumgarden. Obviously, we've had a couple little bumps, a couple little runs, but you know, all in all, it hasn't been anything too crazy out there, right? Nobody making any ridiculous dive bomb moves or ridiculously crazy moves out there. So honestly, pretty good job from the majority of the field so far tonight, especially after, you know, the race that we had last week at Darlington. I know a lot of people weren't happy with that, but here this week at the Rock, it's been pretty nice. The first couple laps had a couple issues, but other than that, this has been a very, very clean race. And of course, as soon as I say that, the yellow flag's out. Go figure.
Well, you know you're back when you have a commentator's curse, don't you?
Yeah, no kidding. Is that...
It's Marasco.
Is that Ty? Yeah. And that's the battle for, you know, 8th on back was honestly kind of the steamiest battle on the racetrack. All those guys were getting kind of argy-bargy, so I guess I'm not surprised that it came from that group of cars. I hate to see Ty backwards on the back straightaway.
Take a look on what happened to Ty Marasco for the Team MFRD number 1. Alongside with the 96 of Jacob Locklear. Is this with contact? Yes, it is. Not clear.
Yeah, I feel like, was Ty coming off the wall ever so slightly from being loose on the top side of the racetrack too?
Didn't really look like it at least.
I couldn't quite tell. I felt like his nose was pointed down to the inside of the racetrack a little bit before the contact. Let's see.
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, the 96 didn't give him a lot of room, but I do think that Ty was coming off the wall a little bit.
So the field comes back down to pit road this time by. And Aaron Smith, first in. First out off of pit. Oh, a bit of a close race that time, but Smith barely maintains the lead of the race. So caution flag is out past the halfway point in this race. We're going to take a jump back when we return. Racing action resumes on Green Flag TV. Stay with us.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV. Racing action set to resume once again from the Rockingham Speedway. If you're just tuning in, welcome to the second half of the High Time Racing Guardian Premier Series. My name is Ole Wemple alongside Austin Edstrom. And Austin, we're ready to go back to green with 69 laps on the boards.
Yep, Aaron Smith on the outside. He's your race leader. Came out pit road first. He's going to get the jump over Benjamin Lacey coming down into turn number 1. But this is basically the best start Lacey's gotten all day, right? He's had to settle into third, settle into fourth place on these restarts. This time, able to settle right behind Aaron Smith in that second place position as the field funnels off to turn number 2. Oh, it's Connor Gibson getting pushed way down to the inside of the racetrack. Able to hang on to that race car and somehow pick up the spot.
So the field slides out, and we're able to pick it back up off of turn numbers 1 and 2. We're in a 1 and 2. Several cars still very much on the move right now. A lot of big movers so far throughout the course of this race, the biggest of which being Bob Berry and Mike Massagill, both up 15 on the day.
Pretty decent races so far out of those two, but still 68 laps to go. A lot of time for it to get a little bit better and a lot of time for it to go way, way wrong. So just got to hang on to it. At this point, John Osborne stuck on the outside of the racetrack here, trying to hang on to his position as we go up just a little bit. Looking at Kyle Wimman there for a moment, who's still doing a great job up to the 7th place position after being caught up in stuff early. But back here, Osborne just trying to hang on as they're too wide in his mirror. Shire on the outside. Looks like he's going to be able to hang on to that position as the 0-1 of Ashley Lyles trying to pick it up, still down to the inside. Look at that run from Lyle down on the inside of the racetrack. Could not quite clear Shire coming off of turn number 2. Going to lose a bit of momentum as they come down to turn number 3, but Lyle still looking for the spot.
Ashley Lyle right now up 12 spots this afternoon, qualified all the way back in 26th and is looking to potentially be a threat for a top 10 this afternoon. Running the 13th place spot up the road, Dustin Ping loses the spot to Jaden Hopp, while Jeremiah Hobbs puts down the fastest lap of the race all the way back in 23rd.
Even back in the middle of the pack, you can still run some ridiculously fast lap times. Obviously, a few of these guys trying to pick up a lot of spots. Dustin Ping, they're coming a little bit sideways in the middle of 1 and 2. He comes down the racetrack and gets Brian Dees as well. 4-car pile up down the side of the racetrack, and the yellow flag is finally flown.
Way too late, if you ask me.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Wellman was sideways for a long period of time there, and bringing Brian Dees and Dalton Kilroe down with him.
Tough incident, and once again, you can hear Actually, this time by, you can actually hear Aaron Smith starting to put in the clutch here. So potentially some fuel-saving games going on. And this is what happened to Wellman alongside with Austin McGill. And take us through it. Oh, boy.
Ooh, Wellman just outbraked himself, honestly. He was trying to get as much as he could on the entrance of the corner, but unfortunately the car in front was slowing down a little bit more than Wellman was expecting, and kind of the second time we've seen somebody on the outside of the racetrack coming down into turn number 1, braking a little bit too late, tagging the car in front of him, and then being the one that spins out after giving the bumper. It's been a little bit weird seeing the car from behind spin out after having some nose-to-rear bumper contact. That's the second time we've seen that happen tonight.
I'm still very surprised that the caution flag did not come out sooner than it did. Green flag, green flag, green flag. Right around here is when the caution actually comes out. It's a real long time for those cars sitting sideways. Now, granted, I don't think a caution coming out sooner would have mitigated what that wreck was going to be at all, but it might have been, I don't know. I don't think it would have really had an impact in it, but you know, the point remains.
Yeah, I mean, all those cars were already down on the bottom of the racetrack. I don't know if it would have changed too much as well. I think you kind of nailed that on the head, but ultimately, a guy like Benjamin Lacey's got to be getting frustrated, right? Yeah, he had the pole at the beginning of this thing, could have laid claim to winning this race early, or at least, you know, setting himself up to win it early. But instead, off that first start where you don't have an advantage over second place, Aaron Smith used that outside group to his advantage, took the race lead, and now Lacey just has not had a long enough run to use the long run speed to pass Smith. I think that Lacey is a little bit better after 40, 50 laps. The problem is, there's not that many laps left. If we get one more caution, I don't know if he's going to have that long run to be able to make the move on Aaron Smith.
Weather conditions, track has cooled just a little bit throughout the course of this race, but not by much, as you can see kind of how things have evolved over the last 51 minutes or so. Track temp has cooled, I think, overall by about 3 or 4 degrees, and I like how you can see exactly where we had a caution stream because of the sharp dip in the track temp as well.
Dude, I'm in love with all the overlays that you have now got. I mean, I'm going to just start missing for 2 weeks over and over and over again just to see what all new stuff you come up with.
60 laps to go when we get back to the stripe. Kyle Wellman giving an end alongside penalty just to ensure that nobody will be penalized for passing him. Green flag is out.
Aaron Smith again with a great restart, and this time Benjamin Lacey could not clear for the second place position. Brian Zimmerman in the best place that he's been all night. Oh, he got a little tight coming out of turn number 2. Actually going to be able to hand that second place back over to Benjamin Lacey. Brian just asked a little bit too much out of that number 22 around turns 1 and 2. And has to settle back into the 4th place position. Jaden Hopp up to 3rd. Scott Shire able to pick his way back towards the front of the field. He's running up in the 8th place position. He's picked up a couple spots off of a little bit of attrition and a little bit of just hanging in there, picking up 1 here, 1 there through the pit stops as well. John Osborne down here on the bottom side of the racetrack, trying to make sure nobody gets under him as he's already in a side-by-side battle.
Oh, look out!
Is that the 88? Stuffing it in the fence on the outside, just about came down and clocked the 89, but luckily all these guys able to get out of turn number 4 the same way that they came into 3.
James Efall having a little bit of a scare there as he kind of got collected up in that. Now he's into the wall, right ahead of Nicholas Coruscant, causing another scramble. Into the fence again in 3. Boy,
he's having some moments.
No kidding. He's got to sort him out quick because he doesn't have many more spots to lose. And again into the wall in 1.
He's having something major wrong with that number 88. Not quite having this thing figured out on the restart. Bleeding positions, tagging the fence multiple times in a row. You can just see that thing is tight entering the corner. Almost took off on him. Once again entering turn number 3. So big moments from the number 88 here on this restart. But ultimately, good job by the field, able to get by, and good job by him to keep this thing under green as we're working 56 laps to go. Side-by-side battle outside the top 15. And there's a couple up into the top 10 as well. looks like McGill is being challenged by Bob Berry. Actually, they get that sorted out. Now it's Bob Berry and Ashley Lyle side by side. And just about a 3-wide battle down the front is Gibson able to power by around the outside. Gibson's had an eventful night himself, and he's gotten himself up into the top 10.
Now the Canadian Tire number 31 Chevy SS has been having a time of it. Really the last few races and all season. Oh, and again with a big slide to the inside, able to gather her up. But man, I can tell you, I mean, Connor Gibson is struggling right now. Doing a good job though on keeping that car facing forward and moving forward. Just got to be careful not to get the elbows out too much. He's been criticized quite heavily the last several weeks, and even some weeks in last season, over some of that really aggressive driving. So Gibson might be taking some of that advice to heart.
And, you know, he's had a couple issues today, but I don't really think that they've been really anything overly aggressive, right? I think he's got the wall a couple times or been involved in somebody else's incident, but he's done a good job recovering, not really getting into anybody since then, and putting that thing back up in the top 10, trying to fight here for the 7th place position. Just about got to that left rear quarter panel of Bob Berry, but could not quite pull him back. Ashley Lyle looking in the inside of Shire once again, just outside, or excuse me, for the top 10. Shire running in the 10th place position. Ashley Lyle trying to take it away from him. And Samuel Bumgarden running the furthest down the running order than he has all day long in the 11th place position.
Oh, trouble all around. Gonna go Jonathan Canfield. Slides in the middle of 3. Wrangles it down to the apron, and he's gonna pull it up.
That's a ridiculous save. For him to be dead sideways like that, pointed towards the, pointed towards the infield wall, and somehow getting that saved as soon as he hits the apron. I mean, what a save from Canfield. It's just, holy cow, did they just stack up like crazy in front of him, or did he just forget to hit the brake pedal?
I think a bit of a stack up in front of him, and this is what Wyatt Walker saw way up the field.
Oh, he almost got right reared. That would have been huge for Wyatt. Luckily, able to squeeze right by, but that was tight coming into turn number 3. Nervy moment there for Canfield.
Wee bit, yeah.
On.
Back here, Ty Marasco under fire from Tanner Marr. As Marr looking for the inside on Marasco. Still doing a great job, though, with the number 1 car. Able to pull out in front of this field. Marr all the way back here as well. Coruscant trying to make a move. And oh, now Gibson's gone into the inside wall on the back straightaway.
Oh, I got to stop talking about people's recovery drives because I was talking about Kyle Wellman, and now I've been talking about Connor Gibson, and both of them end up having moments in these last couple of green flag runs. And now Connor Gibson losing all of that track position that he had done so well to gain. Coming off of turn number 2, just high around the outside, and just took too much of the racetrack.
Ooh.
Tried to use too much of it, pounded the outside wall, and then pounded the inside wall even harder.
Tough break for Connor Gibson. Bit of a recovery drive ahead of him now. And all around him, the battle remains. Oh, look at Lyle now. Trying to put the challenge to Bumgarden. Had quite a few close calls on this green flag stand, but nothing enough to slow. Oh, well, as I say, that'll do it.
Oh, well.
I was just saying
is that Scott Shire from the top 10?
It
He's
is.
Completely destroyed. Now we both got a commentator's curse in us tonight.
Yeah, no kidding. It's got to be a record there for most amount of commentators' curses in one go. Scott Shire with a hefty lick, and we'll see what happens. Matt Crockett's also got a meatball flag.
Ooh, the 84 doing the same thing we just saw Canfield do.
And unfortunately, he did not save it. Shire got to him. Bumgarden tried to check up. Couldn't get it checked up in time. Dustin Ping got involved. Lyle collected on the inside. Crockett gets into it. Walker gets into it. He got lucky. This time, not so much. Marasco slips through on the bottom, though.
How the hell did Ty get through there? Okay, Kyle Webman involved in it again. Yeah, what Ty just did to get down the racetrack there and dodge that was nothing short of amazing. Great job from Ty to be able to dodge that. Unfortunately for a lot of these other guys, there was just about no opportunity, right? Funneling down into turn number 3 at the speed that they were. It's just 2 cars kind of plugging up the track, and then Shire flying back up the racetrack after some contact. Marasco, really the only one able to do anything super crazy to avoid it. Kilroy did a good job slowing down there, the 20 as well, but ultimately that ends up kind of being the big one down to turn number 3. But again, here come the pit stops. Aaron Smith getting out first.
First in,
Lacey,
first out.
I believe, still coming out second. Oh my goodness, did we have 2 cars stay out?
We did. Kyle Wellman and Jeremiah Hobbs.
Oh. Well, that throws a wrench in this. So much for Aaron Smith leading every single lap.
He will not get the clean sweep today. And look at the background here as Wellman checked up trying to avoid it and nowhere for Kilroy to go. Let's ride on board with Ty Marasco.
Coming down the back straightaway, 3 wide right in front of him. Seeing the smoke, getting on the brakes pretty early here, trying to slow down as much as possible. Kind of finds a hole up towards the top. See Shire skate back down the racetrack, just does enough to get down in time. What a job from Ty Marasco. Obviously, he had plenty of time to figure out what he needed to do, but still a great job nonetheless. But you mentioned Wellman being involved in that incident. He also decided to stay out. Said, screw it, I slid my tires a little bit, but let me just go up here in the clean air and see if that helps.
Field now poised and ready to go once again. I got to be honest, I feel like it's going to be a bit of a stop-start race from here to the end with less than 50 to go.
Well, especially with 2 cars on older tires up in the front and one of them just slid their tires, I would have to agree with you. I'm a little nervous.
Pace car's off. Green flag is up in the air. Some drivers checking up already on that inside line. We're able to go, though, nonetheless, and we're into turn 1.
Side by side for second. Kyle Wellman gets away. Aaron Smith, though, not able to make that pass. Down on the inside, Jeremiah Hobbs able to hang on to the second place position with the older tires. Hobbs doing a good job hanging on. That's going to let Benjamin Lacey get to the outside of Aaron Smith for the first time tonight. Can he take that 3rd place position away? No. Smith able to slide him. Coming off at turn number 4, able to hang on to that 3rd place position. Can he get through? Can he take this race lead before Lacey takes that spot away from him?
Brian Zimmer with a bit of a slide the last lap by as well. He's able to gather it up. Smith through to second. And 1 car up the road now in the battle for the lead of the race. Aaron Smith closing in on Kyle Wellman. Smith has led by far the most laps tonight. Nothing can take that away from him. But what has been taken away is leading every lap of the race. And looks like Kyle Wellman might lose it here.
Oh, but Wellman is ripping that fence through 3 and 4, trying to get the momentum coming off of the corner. But Smith just does a good enough job on the ball.
Oh, trouble behind!
Turn number 4. The yellow flag finally comes out as we get a 23.
Oh!
And a big-time ARCA break there. Ends up causing some more damage.
Paul
So Wellman able to hang
Satmary
on to the race lead.
again collected in another crash. And we will slow her down again. Another tough break coming off the top side, and this is entering 3, and it happened exiting 4. Is it with help? Yes, it is. Baumgarten turned in on Walker. Oh, look at Sean Williams stamp on the brakes to sneak through there. I think
Unfortunate for Baumgarten, man. He was running in the top 5 all night long, lost his track position, and it's just gone from bad to worse.
I can't exactly blame Satmary for that. I mean, Baumgarten rolled down the racetrack. He thought he was going to go low and then tried to make a quick course correction up high, and it just was the wrong place to go.
I think Satmary was going a little bit too fast for how long that wreck was happening for, but the caution was a little bit late to come out too, so I'll give him a little bit of a benefit of the doubt. Man, Baumgarten really just got taken out there for that.
Well, it's not too dissimilar to having actually Kyle Wellman last week with Hayden Wheeler. Very similar situation happened there. We'll get another look back. This time we'll be on board with Satmary. Yeah, see, he thinks he's going to go down low. He's basically staying up high, then he sees him trying to cut down low, and he makes just the wrong call. And this is on board with Williams. Great reaction to get through that.
Still another 37 laps to go here. Whenever we cross the stripe, I think it'll be 36 whenever we finally go green. And at this point, Kyle Wellman going to be on the front row. Aaron Smith going to be starting in the opposite lane as Wellman. So we're waiting to see what lane does Wellman pick. Looks like he's going to be picking the top side coming across the line here. So Smith's going to get the inside. And what really matters is now Lacey is going to be in the same line as Smith. If he was behind Wellman and could put Smith and Lacey into a side-by-side battle quickly for that second place position, but Wellman picked the top, so it's gonna be about, can Lacey stay with Smith? Can he potentially make a move whenever Smith is making a move on Wellman for the race lead? Because again, I think Lacey's got the speed in him to win this race. It's just Aaron Smith's had the track position the entire day since the initial start. So let's see how fast can each of these guys get past Kyle Wellman, and heck, can Kyle Wellman hang on to this race lead for long enough to for another caution to come out for him to save him and keep him in that race lead again. You know, if it only happens another 3 or 4 times, he could win this race.
"36 laps. And once again, green flag getting set to kick off this afternoon. Green flag drops. Kyle Wellman is on the loud pedal, and we tear towards turn number 1.
Wellman easily getting down to turn number 1 all by himself, single file. Smith didn't get the greatest run off at 2, but he's going to close down in on Wellman ever so slightly. Lacey's still stuck side by side with the number 3 of Jeremiah Hobbs. Not going to be able to take that position just yet, allowing Aaron Smith to get away from those two and close up to the back bumper of Kyle Wellman. I was hoping for Wellman's sake he can hang on to this lead for 3, 4, 5 laps at a time, but with that pace out of the number 70, I don't know if he's going to be able to last another lap without giving it up. And here comes Aaron Smith off of turn number 2. He's got the run. Can Wellman get enough on the outside of the racetrack here in 3 and 4 to hang on, or is it going to be Aaron Smith coming out of 4?
Off of turn number 4, this time by. Smith's got the lead. Wellman trying to drive back around. Not going to do it, though. Those old tires, just no match for the PT Autosport Yellow Vision number 70. Tanner Marr, Nate Macon, Sean Williams setting the fast lap of the race this time by. We're close to breaking into the 23-second bracket.
They definitely picked it up a little bit over the course of the last few restarts. Aaron Smith absolutely flying through into the race lead. And, well, Benjamin Lacey, the guy that we thought was going to challenge him for it, has gotten stuck back in the 5th place position. And he's actually gotten passed by Jaden Hopp, the winner last week. Now looking to the inside for 3rd place. Can he be the one that challenges Aaron Smith out of nowhere?
Austin McGill, the first driver to put down a sub 24-second lap time today. 23.975. Oh, into the wall is Wellman. Jaden Hobbs sweeps through the number 2 spot. Wellman now side by side with Hobbs in a 1 and 2.
Wellman just trying to hang on those older tires. So is Hobbs, though. So a side-by-side battle for the 3rd place position with older tires. Now becoming a roadblock for Benjamin Lacey here, stuck just behind these 2. Riding in the 5th place position. Can he find an easy way by to make it a 2 for 1? Or is he just going to sit here and watch the front 2 leaders completely pull away as Hopp is continuing to run down Aaron Smith for the race lead?
Jaden Hopp continues on that crusade, trying to chase him down up the road. Meanwhile, everyone else scrapping it out 2 by 2 behind, and this is where our eyes remain for now. Oh, middle around! Gonna go the 44 of Marr. They're able to gather it up somehow.
Thought we were going to get the second big one. What a save from Tanner Marr, able to hang on to that car. Coming out of turn number 4, now side by side for the 3rd place position. Wellman on the outside, trying to hang on for all he can, but Benjamin Lacey is tired of running back here behind these older tires. He's trying to get back in the clean air so that he at least has a shot at the front 2. But man, he's so far back, I think he's going to need another restart with 30 laps to go. But Jaden Hopp all over the back bumper at this point. He was riding the outside in 3 and 4, running a little bit higher in 1 and 2 as well, trying to go for the later apex than Aaron Smith, trying to get the run off the corner to potentially make a dive into turn number 3. Oh, as it looks like Hobbs is in the fence out of turn number 2.
Oh,
With a little bit more contact with Connor, with I believe the 75 of Bob Berry.
Bob Berry again beating around a little bit there. He's able to wrangle it together. Hobbs gives him the push down the front straight. We're trying to shove him up towards his fellow opponents a little ways up the road. Aggressive dogfighting going on here in the closing laps, and this is what Jaden Hobbs sees right in front of him. A big, bright, yellow number 70 Chevrolet that he's trying to put out of the top spot.
And the speed that Hopp has had the last few laps, we have not seen out of anybody the entire race. He is absolutely pounding Aaron Smith. Even in this dirty air, he's pushing Smith, I believe, a little bit faster than he wants to go. Benjamin Lacey still stuck back there in the 3rd place position, a second back. Maybe just able to save his tires a little bit, but the yellow flag comes in. I believe we had a car stuck sideways on the back straightaway.
Sean Williams has gone around at the tail of the field, looking like Kyle Wellman may have caught a piece as well. And the driver of the number 84 will be put sideways once again.
Getting a look at the replay here, coming out of turn number 2. Once again, Wellman on the outside of the racetrack. Again, on the older tires, washes up a little bit, ends up finding the fence, pops it, and then right across the nose of Sean Williams. Sean did absolutely nothing wrong in all that, gave plenty of room, and just completely destroyed his race.
Did exactly what you should do, right? He locked it down, made himself predictable. That is why nobody hit him. If you know, you know.
At this point, we should just give him some bonus points for that. And everybody just came down pit road except Aaron Smith and Austin McGill. So this could be a little bit of a hairy restart with Aaron Smith being on some older rubber. Well, this could open up the door for a guy like Jaden Hopper, Benjamin Lacey.
So this race is taking on a new dimension here. Other drivers that have stayed out, Lakey, Efaw, McGill. So Smith's got a small buffer zone to work with.
Yeah, a couple more cars ended up staying out, but I don't know if we get another yellow. I don't think anybody's pitting from here on out, right? Unless you get damaged. So if you're a guy like Jaden Hopper, Benjamin Lacey, and you can clear Leakey, Efaw, McGill, and get to 2nd, get to 3rd, get to where you can challenge Aaron Smith on another restart, then I think you got a chance. But here with them starting 5th, it is going to be a little difficult. But man, that pace that Hop showed last run, he had even tires with Smith and was just a little bit quicker, even stuck in that dirty air. Now that he's got newer tires, I'd be really, really worried about Hop coming through here if I was Aaron Smith.
So gonna go green again. And well, if that race is anything, if that last race is anything to go by, this is gonna be one heck of a final act. With 20, oh hello, what is going on back here? A few drivers getting a little bit discombobulated, it looks like, as you're set to go with 23 laps to go.
I think everybody's just getting a little antsy, right? We're getting down to the end of this thing. Maybe the nerves are starting to ratchet up a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if we had a couple more yellows before this thing was said and done.
Pace car is in. Green flag is out. We race once again down in to turn number 1. What a getaway from Smith and Co.
Yeah. Exactly. Smith and McGill are just gone. I mean, when have we seen that big of a restart out of the front two, just completely pulled away after one lap? Benjamin Lacey, though, with a good restart on the outside. He restarted in 6th. He's going to be able to get through to 3rd as we come across the stripe. Still side by side, but I think he's going to clear for that 3rd place position. And on the newest tires, this could be the moment that Benjamin Lacey needed.
Problem for Tanner Marr back in the field. as the 44 entry is slowing and slowing dramatically. May have popped the motor with the number 44. That car's got no life under it.
Tough break for Tanner this late in the race. 22 laps to go to have the motor die out on him, have a big moment, and just get caught out. I'm going to check the replay, obviously.
In fact, look at the front clip. It's barely hanging on.
Yeah, he's already got big issues down on the bottom side of the racetrack. I mean, there's not going to be any more contact, is there? It's just straight up.
It just pulls to the side.
Oh, well.
I have no idea what to think about that.
Yeah, I really don't know. That's a little bit of a weird one, but nonetheless, he decides to pull it off. But Benjamin Lacey on the newer tires, Christopher Bassinger coming through right behind him. Both those guys trying to run down your front two. Austin McGill running as high as he has all night, somehow with a chance to win this thing at the very end of it. If he can stay with Aaron Smith, give himself an opportunity. But man, that's a little bit of a hornet's nest further back as some of these older tires starting to fall throughout the field. Big move down to the inside. Coming down to turn number 1. James Fall on the outside, just trying to hang on.
This race is picking up in full force. Benjamin Lacey is around Austin McGill. Now the battle commences. The fight for the lead is on as Lacey tries to drive up and around the guy that has been dominant all day today.
Blakey with the newer tires. Oh, gets his new tires spoiled with this caution flag. And David Leakey down to the inside of the racetrack. He was one of those guys on older tires going backwards. Gotta imagine he might have turned into a little bit of a roadblock as a lot of these newer tires are coming through.
Jonathan Canfield, the other car that ended up going around. And we will find out what puts us under the caution flag for the next time tonight. Well, this is a little bit early. Lakey caught the wall, came off the wall, and right into Canfield. And Larry Bell just escaping disaster. It's not the one. Look at Wyatt Walker sling to the inside. The 20 car, though, gets it. Williams! Holy cow! A lot of cars getting through that unscathed.
Not easy to do that on the back straightaway of the Rock, right? There's not a lot of room.
Look at this.
Very, very narrow backstretch. Kind of feels like Martinsville back there.
Bell gets through. Walker gets through.
Wow.
I want to get a look on board with Lyle and Williams as well. There's a lot of drivers. Or Lyle, sorry. There's a lot of drivers to look at in this one. He's on board with Lyle. Good. Nearly lost it as well. From Sean Williams. And then from Wyatt Walker, one car up the road now in line. Oh, man. And then finally one more time from Larry Bell up in 14th.
Ripping around the outside here at turn number 2.
Unbelievable.
That's incredible from Bell to be able to get through there.
Let's be real, those 4 onboards, I think those 4 onboards perfectly demonstrate how big this crash could have been and how great of a job this field did to keep that as low of a car count involved as possible.
Yeah, for where that wreck happened off of turn number 2 in the very middle of the field, right, just outside of the top 10, you would definitely expect a few more cars to get involved, but man, just great job from a lot of these guys. You know, a bunch of crazy moves to be able to get by and be able to, not or just kind of preserve their race, right? So coming down to 15 laps to go, you would hate to wreck out in the last 20 laps. So a lot of these guys just giving themselves that opportunity. But up here at the front, this is Benjamin Lacey's best opportunity. He's on the newer tires, excuse me, on the front row with Aaron Smith. And he never had that long run that I think would have worked out for him, that I really do believe, you know, he could have at least put up a challenge with Aaron Smith. He never got the long run that he needed. But here, this is almost a better opportunity, right? Aaron Smith is going to get the jump on the restart, but Benjamin Lacey should be able to come back at him with those tires here in the closing 15 laps, or 13 whenever we go green, as long as he actually gets the 13 laps to go green, which is a big question.
David Lake will have to serve a drive-through penalty with this. You see him with the black flag when it flickers through on the right side of the timing tower, because this is his second claim of the race. Therefore, he is awarded a drive-through, a third, and he would be parked for the rest of the afternoon as well.
Going back to the restart, Aaron Smith on the outside, older tires, Benjamin Lacey on the inside, newer tires. Who's it gonna be? Will it be somebody else further back in the field with the green flag flying once again?
Aaron Smith takes off towards turn number 1. Lacey still has to clear McGill. McGill's not making it easy for him. Oh, one car to the fence off of turn number 2. Sliding out sideways as James Eflaw is able to gather it underneath him. But now the Makers dozen to go, and we got a hornet's nest back here. Larry Bell is being sent for a ride. Lyle's around. Somehow no caution for the carnage going on in the tail of the field. And we're still green.
They ultimately got it all sorted out, but I'm really surprised for the side-by-side battle for second. Oh, more contact further back, one car in the fence. But Lacey, he's got the newer tires. He has got to get by Austin McGill as soon as possible to give himself an opportunity at Aaron Smith, but he has not been able to clear that 78.
He has to go. He's got no more time to wait. We'll jump back real quick. Find out what happened here. Gibson took out Larry Bell. Canadian on Canadian crime. Around goes Lyle hard into the wall for Larry Bell. And the rest of the field stacked it up coming off of turn numbers 3 and 4. And Lacey trying to sneak through on McGill.
Yeah, they almost made contact out of turn number 4, and now Lacey stuck side by side with Jaden Hopp. Hopp, who looked like he was done after that green flag, or after the restart. He lost positions on the newer tires. He's gonna go 3-1 on the outside.
Oh, look out!
Hopp on the outside at 2 takes both of them, and now Hopp with the newer tires is all over the back bumper of Aaron Smith.
Jaden Hopp trying to go back to the race lead this afternoon. Has not led the race at all throughout the course of the day. Looking to lead his first laps with less than 10 to go. And he's got a 10th and a half to himself and Smith. Lacey, though, still wants to have an in as well.
Lacey's got to be thinking, what the heck, man? What do I have to do? I was in position to win this thing on the newer tires, but he just got pinned down on the inside of the racetrack, and now Hopp still ripping the pits with the newer tires, trying to get the
Here he
run
goes!
on Smith, and here it is down the front straightaway. Hopp, Smith, battling side by side for the lead, down to 1 and 2.
Through turns 1 and 2 this afternoon. Jaden Hopp pushing up on the bottom side. Smith maintains the run up high. Aaron Smith has been great on defense all day today, but with 20 lap older tires, it's a matter of time. Contact! Around goes Jaden Hopp! Hopp's gonna lose it! He spins around the front straightaway! No! Yes, the caution comes out! He's gonna pull the 360 save! But Hopp sent sideways! And it's drama for the lead with under 10 to go.
I think Hopp came up slightly. I mean, Smith looks like he's holding his line pretty steady in the center of the corner. I'm watching the replay. I want to say Hopp just came up a little too quick, and he almost did a hell of a job saving it, right? The back end was fishtailing 2, 3, 4 times, back to back to back, coming off the corner. He was just trying to hang on. See here through the middle of the corner, side by side, the air taking off the door. And I think Hopp just came up a little bit more than Smith came down. So I hope Smith doesn't get the EOL for that.
I don't think anybody gets an EOL for that. I think that's just racing.
I hope not.
It's just two cars going for the same spot. I mean, you can't blame anyone for that. It's hard racing.
I agree. Just a little bit of a door check that was almost saved out of turn 4. I feel like you can't give an EOL on that. Smith's doing everything he can to defend, and he didn't do anything egregious. Again, I feel like he held his line, and Hopp came up ever so slightly, but whenever you're that close, side by side, you come up 1 inch and you make contact like we saw coming out of turn number 4. But, I mean, honestly, what a job by Hopp spinning that thing out and not losing more positions than he did.
On board of Benjamin Lacey, this is what he saw.
Hop gets the EOL. See, like ones like that, I wish there wasn't an EOL. I don't think we need an EOL.
Jaden Hop got an EOL for that?
Yeah, I don't think we need an EOL for that. Like,
Brother, why?
I feel like the punishment is spinning out, you know?
It's racing. You can't fault him for what's he supposed to do. He's going for the lead. There could be the argument made is like, oh, well, there's more room to the top. There's more room above Smith as well. And by that logic, you give Smith the EOL too. They're both at fault. They're both at fault. They're both not at fault. I think they're both not at fault.
Well, Hop came up ever so slightly, so I disagree with that to an extent, but I don't think that there should just be an EOL, right? Like, it was a single car spin, 2 cars going for the lead under 10 laps to go, and it's just a little bit of a door check. It's not like there was any menace behind it, right? It's just 2 guys going for it, and you know, we're getting a zoomed in look here. Smith.
I see no way there that Jaden Hop deserves an EOL for that.
I don't think anybody deserves an EOL.
This is the same driver that claimed a caution last week and didn't get EOL'd for it, despite literally claiming on the radio that was my fault. Make it make sense. It doesn't. It doesn't make sense. That is the wrong call.
There's just certain wrecks where I feel like there shouldn't be any fault assigned. It's just a racing incident between 2 guys going for the same thing. Like, if somebody dives in and hits somebody's rear end into corner entry and spins them out, then yeah, there needs to be an EOL penalty or something. But whenever there's door contact like that between 2 guys, and I think Hop only came up, you know, an inch or 2. It's not like it was anything egregious. And like I said, there was absolutely no malice between either of them. At that point, the punishment was him spinning out. Right? Like, I don't think that you need any extra punishment on top of that, personally. But race control is a thankless job, so.
I think I said everything I need to say about that, and yeah, I've made my opinion clear. We're gonna move on. We got 3 laps to go. Everything that needed to be said has been said. It's gonna be between Smith and Lacey, I think, for the win, unless Zimmerman can pull off the mother of all upsets here, or maybe Bassinger.
I mean, Bassinger's been up here all night, right? He's been running top 5, top 10 every single restart. So I wouldn't count Bassinger out being on the outside, especially being there with Smith, who's going to be, you know, starting this restart from the outside group. Bassinger could just fly right on through. Well, never mind. Aaron Smith with a huge jump. Bassinger got a decent start. Able to be side by side still for 3rd, but Benjamin Lacey easily clear for the 2nd place position. It's all going to be about, can Lacey use those new tires over the course of the next 3 laps to reel in Smith and potentially give him a little bit of a bump and run. I think that might be his only opportunity.
Can Smith hang on with 20-lap older tires? 2 laps to go. And Aaron Smith trying to see if he can hang on. Benjamin Lacey's got 2 laps and 2 miles to get the job done.
Lacey trying to run a little bit higher through turns 1 and 2, able to gain in on him down into turn number 3. He's going to need one more really good corner here through 3 and 4 to close that gap as they come down into turn 1 and 2. White flag is out. What can Benjamin Lacey do with 1 lap to go?
Benjamin Lacey looking to try to sling this one up around the high side. Aaron Smith fighting for this one down the inside. Here goes Lacey. Lacey to the inside at 3. Sending for it, trying to go all the way to the bottom side of the racetrack. Smith up high, out of 4. Drag race to the line. Smith hangs on to take the win on 20-lap older tires. What a finish to close things out at Rockingham.
Like the classic Rockingham finish that we used to see back in the early 2000s. It felt like we were always getting either photo finishes or nearly photo finishes, and there Benjamin Lacey just 0.5 of a second off of Aaron Smith. Had a good run at it through 3 and 4. Didn't quite get as heavy of a side draft as maybe he needed to off of turn 4, and ultimately Smith used that momentum from the top side of the racetrack to pull ahead and just barely win this thing. And honestly, it was a dominating performance for Aaron Smith. He deserved this one over everybody else. He led the most laps, was consistently up front, so probably the most deserving winner in the field.
Absolutely. Huge deserving winner on that big.
I'm thinking
big,
Jaden Hopp actually claimed the incident on.
Yes. Yes.
But
I was
again,
about. I was about.
There needs to be a penalty.
This is the difficult thing, and I was about to bring this up as well, right? And I mean, I think I ripped into race control a little bit. I will admit that. I did do a little bit of ripping here. I am going to apologize for that because I think the fact that Jaden Hopp admitted to the incident and took claim for it puts it into a whole new light. It was a big discussion last week. Why did he claim it and not get penalized for it, right? That was the big thing. That was the huge discussion. And it was one of those things that was said it was going to be worked on. And sure enough, it was worked on tonight, right? And I feel like I still don't agree with the fact that Hopp claimed it. But if he did claim it, by letter of law of the rulebook, he has to get the penalty, no matter if the claim is right or wrong. In that way, race control, while I don't agree with the call, he followed the rulebook to the letter of the law, and you cannot fault race control for that. So I will apologize. That is 100% something that I think, I don't know, it's one of those things I think maybe the drivers have to take more consideration. It's like, what could they claim? What could they not claim? We don't know if had it not been claimed, that would still lead to an EOL. We don't know what would happen. But Jaden Hopp did take the claim. He took the EOL. It was of his own will. We can't fault race control for that.
Nope.
So, tough call, tough way to end it. Definitely not the way we wanted to see that battle come to a close, but boy, did Benjamin Lacey ever make up for it in the end. Well, we'll take a rundown of the official post-race results here this afternoon as Aaron Smith takes home the W ahead of Benjamin Lacey by 43 thousandths of a second. Brian Zimmerman picks up third, Bassinger in fourth, Kilrow in fifth, Foster in sixth, Carrasco back in seventh, Dees in eighth, Coruscant in ninth, and Bob Berry closes out the top 10.
White Walker finished in 11th. John Osborne 12th. Sean Williams recovered after that huge nose damage to the 13th place position. Austin McGill falls back to 14th after not taking tires late. Jeremiah Hobbs rounds out the top 15. With Ashley Lyle finishing in the 16th place position. Mike Massengill in 17th. Jaden Hopp in 18th after the late EOL. Connor Gibson in 19th. And Jonathan Canfield rounds out the top 20.
Back into 21st place, it's David Lake alongside James Efog. Kyle Wellman, one lap down with Dustin Payne, 2 down. 11 down was Larry Bell, and we're into cars out there failed to finish this race with Ethan Sikorsky, Tanner Marr, Samuel Baumgarten, Matt Crockett, and Scott Shire closing out the top 30.
31st was Paul Sathmary, Jacob Locklear in 32nd, Joey Neese in 33rd, Michael Keithley 34th. Brad Lawson rounds out the top 35 with Conrad Whedon, Thomas Mitchell, and Michael Thorpe Jr., your points leader coming in to tonight, finishing in last place. Going to tumble a couple spots there.
Boy, what a way to close out this race this afternoon. We'll get the chance now to give a chit-chat here to all the drivers that come home within the top 3, and we'll look to start things off. First and foremost with the PT Autosport Yellow Vision number 70 of Aaron Raymond, who comes home this afternoon up on top. Aaron, it was one of the wildest finishes we've seen in the minute, and of course you're right at the center of it. How the heck did you hang on with 20 lap molded tires for that long?
One of the funny things about this car is that the heat in the tires matters a little bit more than the overall wear. So for the first few laps in a run, you can stay ahead and run your quickest laps of the race. My second to last lap was the quickest lap I ran all race. I think it was like it was 1 something, but yeah, they were all so much quicker behind me. Jaden took a swing at me, and I guess we got together out of the turn 4 and cost him a shot at the win. But yeah, Ben got to me, got to my inside. I wanted to stay on the outside regardless of what he did. So I think I made the right move there, but it almost threw it away by sliding up there. So I'm glad I was able to get the run and pull it off.
Overall, a pretty insane finish as far as finishes go, but this season's been on the up and up for the Yellow Vision number 70. You've been having a lot of really good runs, and well, with I think the second win now on the season, you're the first repeat winner as well. What do you think your championship hopes are looking like?
I think they're looking pretty good right now. Cost myself a shot at a good finish last week at Darlington. I think I self-spun by myself there on the backstretch. But yeah, I wasn't thinking too much of this stretch of tracks, but Rockingham was actually pretty cool when you have the clean track in front of you the whole race.
Well, moving on up into the next batch of races here this afternoon, we are going to be at, if I can ever track down the schedule, it's going to be at Texas Motor Speedway next week. 135 laps around the Fort Worth racetrack. Texas is always an unknown quantity. Kind of talk us through your thoughts on it.
I feel like it's going to be a big draft race, single file around the inside, but on the straightaways it should become a pretty a tough fight. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that'll play out. It has been a while since I've raced there in anything, so we'll see. Hopefully I'll be back up here next week.
Well, we'll wish you the best of luck when we go racing next week. Congratulations on taking the #1 spot this afternoon. We will see you when we go racing next week in Texas.
10-4, thank you.
So that is one Aaron Smith joining us here at the end of the night. We'll bring up the 75 racing driver, Benjamin Lacey. Number 2, standing by with Austin Edstrom.
Yeah, Ben, it was a great race from you from start to finish. Unfortunately, though, I at the very start, you qualified on pole, and I believe at this racetrack, you just kind of have a little bit of a disadvantage starting on pole to the car on the outside. They just get that run out of the corner, and you can't really control the start. And I hate to say, 150 laps ago, was that the difference? But I felt like if we got the long run, you very well could have taken that clean air back. So was that kind of the difference in today's race, not being able to play the strategy you wanted later, just from not having the clean air right off the bat?
I was literally just talking to Brian Zimmerman about that. That start, I knew, I was like, man, I almost feel like I wanted to be up on the start P2 because of that turn 1, turn 2. Like exactly what you're talking about right there. That's kind of where the advantage goes. You get such a good run off that, and you can just, you're not intentionally pinching, but you kind of have to pinch in order to make the exit of that corner, right? So it just kind of kills your momentum, and Aaron got the lead there, and then he led pretty much every lap since then. And I felt like on the long runs, I was able to kind of track him down and start getting some momentum up on him and start in his line. I'm like, okay, this is where I know I can make the move. And, turned out to be right where I made the move in the very last lap was where it was, but cautions would come out and then get stuck back in P2 again. So it was all about the restarts there.
Nonetheless, at the end of it, like you said, it did come down to the restarts. It came down to a little bit of tire strategy. Even though you lost that clean air early at the very, very end, at the dying breath, you almost had an opportunity to get it back. Was there anything different you could have done, other than just fencing Aaron, to be able to get the win as y'all came across the line side by side?
Maybe if I could have stayed a little closer off of 1 and 2, and then maybe just give a little bit of a nudge and just kind of say, hey, get up out of my way type of a thing, just very gently. But other than that, that would have been probably the only way to do it. And I did it one time a couple seasons ago, and I didn't like the way that made me feel. So I try not to do that. And, I think the strategy we played with going in and getting tires and him staying out actually worked in our favor, just run out of time.
Well, Ben, I definitely appreciate the clean racing from the broadcast booth. I like seeing y'all be able to come across the line side by side. Felt bad for you. Like I said, I feel like the pole was actually not the place to be at the start of this race, and kind of put you on the back foot right from the beginning. But nonetheless, a great points night for you, finishing in the second place position and getting some bonus points here with that pole. So nonetheless, good night for you. Do you have anybody to thank at the end of this one?
Yeah, I'll just kind of second what you say. This is kind of the best finish I've had this season, so I'll take it. And appreciate Filming the Wild and Real Earth Films for being on board, sponsoring, and Nolan, Austin, Green Flag TV. You guys do such an awesome job. So love it that you guys are here with us this season, and moving forward, just absolutely fantastic. And all the sponsors and admins, our league, and Derek as well for stepping in and helping out broadcast and league stuff. So love it, and thanks for everyone for being here.
Appreciate you, Ben, and congratulations again on the really good finish. Hopefully you can make it one better whenever we go racing next week.
I like it.
All righty, that was your second place finisher, Benjamin Lacey. Next up, we're going to pull up the third place finisher, Brian Zimmerman. He's going to be standing side by side with Nolan Rimple.
Brian Zimmerman comes home number 3 this afternoon. And Brian, I believe you're one of your first podiums with the High Tide Racing Guardian Premier Series. So welcome up to the podium here for HTRL. Wild race this afternoon. You qualified within the top 10, so it was looking like it was going to be a good race for you right from the get-go, and boy, did not disappoint with that finish this afternoon.
Yeah, it was great race. First race I've been able to run with High Tide this season, and it was a lot of fun to come out. A lot of good race car drivers in here, so it was a lot of fun hanging out with them, and we had a great time. So I appreciate Dalton Kilrow and those guys that are putting on the league, and it's a lot of fun. So hopefully I can make some more this year.
kind of talk us through what you've been up to so far. You mentioned this is the first time you've been able to race with these guys here on Monday nights this season. We know you race regularly as well over on the Blaze and Pedal ARCA series over on Sunday nights as well. So what's that 22 car been up to when you haven't been racing here?
Yeah, we do BPL, and we also do a Saturday night league. And I know Green Flag broadcasts it. I've been running a little bit on that. I forget the name of the league now, but BPL is our main league that we run in, and we appreciate y'all broadcasting there and here. You always do a great job. But yeah, we're the 28 car on Sunday nights, 22 car here on Monday nights. So 2 different numbers, but same car. We just pull it off the hauler and change the decals on the side.
Well, what's going to be the game plan for you for the rest of the season? You mentioned you're planning on making more returns. Do you reckon a race win might be on the cards?
Well, it'd be great, but boy, there's a lot of good competition in here, a lot of fast drivers, so it'd be tough. Aaron Smith was dominant tonight. I would have loved to have got a shot at him. I think with our tire strategy, we could have had something for him if we had a green flag run there, but man, he definitely deserved it. Congrats to him and Benjamin. They run a great race tonight, so they were well deserving of their first and second. I know Jaden Hopp had a fast car too tonight. I hate that he got loose coming off of 4 and spun it, but he was also fast. But just a lot of really fast drivers in here, good clean drivers. I know we had some incidents in the back. It was kind of ugly at times in the back, but it's just a tough track, especially in the back here. So I think we get to Texas, get it strung out a little bit. It'll be a lot cleaner. So looking forward to next Monday night. Hopefully I can make another race because it's a lot of fun racing this league.
We'll wish you the best of luck then when we go racing next week. Congratulations in the meantime on taking a good 3rd place here in Rockingham.
Thank you, boys. I appreciate y'all's broadcast. Y'all have a good week.
Brian Zimmerman comes home number 3 this afternoon. And Austin, that will take us to the close of racing action here this afternoon. A wild race from start to finish here. And, I mean, a wild race overall. And once again, High Time Racing League does not disappoint on Monday nights.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm glad that this was the race I got to come back to. The Rock is one of my favorite tracks on the service. So to watch the ARCA cars rip around this thing for 150 laps, that was a pretty fun time for me. Gotta love it anytime we get to see the Rock in action.
Next week, of course, will be the swing up towards the Texas Motor Speedway. But boy, there is still a lot of racing left to come in before we go racing over on Monday nights once again in Fort Worth. And when we go racing next on Green Flag TV, it'll be for the doubleheader Beer League coming at, single header on Wednesday with the Beer League off for this week. But the PSR Sim Cams Expo Truck Series is out for more for round number 6. Round 2 of the chase, meanwhile, for the Speed Cup Series on race 14 at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. On Saturdays, the SRA NASCAR Classic Series out for the Corral 110 down to the Atlanta Motor Speedway. And that is followed up by the Blazing Pedals ARCA Series from Texas, as well as tentative coverage for the ASRL Xfinity Series with their 12th race and the regular season finale at the track Too Tough to Tame on Sunday nights. If you want to find out more about who we are and what we can offer you, you can check us out today at www.greenflagtv.com. In the meantime, my name is Enola Ramble alongside Austin Edstrom. Race number 4 will draw to a close this afternoon from the Rock. Next week, though, it's a jump down to the biggest state, the biggest state in the country. Fort Worth, Texas awaits, as does the Texas Motor Speedway. And we'll see all of you when we go racing next week in the Lone Star State.